Ladies and gentlemen, there is a line that separates the average from the extraordinary, the dreamer from the achiever, the hopeful from the fulfilled. That line is called decision, and today you are going to cross it. Success does not wait. Success does not beg. Success does not whisper. It demands your focus, your energy, and above all, your commitment for the next 6 months. The starting point of all transformation is clarity. Until you know exactly what you want, you will forever be caught in the noise of what everyone else wants for you. You will drift, you will chase shadows, you will react to life instead of commanding it. There is a power that awakens the moment a person declares, without hesitation or apology, what they want from this life. That power is called a definite major purpose, not a wish, not a hope, not a vague intention. A purpose that is burned into your soul like a brand on steel. You cannot afford to be general. I want to be successful is not a purpose. I want to be rich is not a purpose. These are foggy dreams, and fog blinds your steps. Success demands specificity. You must know the what, the why, and the how you intend to move forward. You must define it so clearly that you can close your eyes and see it, taste it, feel it breathing in your chest. A definite major purpose is not something you merely write down. It's something you wake up for, something you fight for, something you're willing to sacrifice comfort and distraction to pursue. Every man or woman who has risen above the ordinary has done so not because they were born with some divine luck, but because they made a decision, they chose a path, they committed with totality, and the world eventually moved out of their way. The universe responds to decisiveness. Life itself aligns when your will becomes firm and your intention unshakable. When you decide what you want with absolute clarity, doors will open, people will show up. Energy will flood your system. Why? Because clarity creates momentum. It focuses your mental forces like sunlight through a magnifying glass, and when enough energy is concentrated on one aim, nothing can stop the fire from catching. You don't need 10 goals right now. You don't need 50 ideas bouncing in your head. You need one clear purpose. For the next 6 months, let that purpose become your compass. Let it guide your decisions. Let it simplify your days. Ask yourself every morning, is what I'm doing today moving me closer to my purpose? If the answer is no, you are wasting time. If the answer is yes, double down. Every breakthrough begins with that moment of honest commitment to something bigger than your fears and louder than your excuses. The first few days may feel uncertain. Your mind might fight you. Your past might whisper limitations. But keep writing that purpose down until it becomes a part of your identity. Speak it aloud. Make it the rhythm of your thoughts. When your purpose becomes clear, your mind stops entertaining anything that doesn't align with it. You stop being available for mediocrity. You become a force. Your job right now is not to figure everything out. Your job is to decide with clarity and conviction, what exactly you are going to pursue for the next 180 days, and let nothing pull you away from it. Desire is the spark that turns a quiet wish into an unstoppable force. Without it, the most brilliant ideas die in silence. Without it, talent wastes away, potential is buried, and greatness remains nothing more than a possibility. But when desire takes root in your heart, true, burning, obsessive desire, everything begins to change. It's no longer about what you could do someday. It becomes what you must do now. This kind of desire is not ordinary. It's not casual interest. It's not a hobby. It's a deep inner fire that refuses to be put out, even when the world throws dirt on your dream. For the next 6 months, desire must become your engine. It must drive you when motivation fades, when energy dips, when the results are not immediate. Because they won't be. The world will not hand you victory on day one. You will be tested, your plan will be challenged, your comfort zone will be threatened, and if your desire isn't strong enough, you will quit. But if it is burning inside you like a furnace, no setback will stop you. No delay will discourage you. You'll keep going. Not because it's easy, but because you have no choice. You have to see it through. Every great achievement began with desire so intense that it disrupted a person's entire life. They couldn't sleep, they couldn't settle, they couldn't go back to normal, and that's the place you must reach. You must become obsessed, not in a reckless way, but in a focused, disciplined, unrelenting way. Desire must become the center of your decisions. It must influence how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, what you read, what you watch, what you tolerate, and what you absolutely refuse to accept anymore. You cannot tiptoe toward your goal. You cannot hope success finds you while you sit quietly. You must chase it with everything you have. If your desire does not consume you, it will be consumed by the distractions of the world. The truth is, most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack hunger. They wanted it, but not enough. They would have liked to have it, but not at the price of discomfort, and so they settle for less, they settle for average, they convince themselves it's okay. But deep inside, they regret that they didn't want it more. You must want your goal more than you want your excuses, more than you want the approval of others, more than you want ease. Every time resistance rises, and it will, you will have one thing to carry you forward, desire. And that desire must be fed daily. Feed it with vision, feed it with words, feed it with action. Speak your dream, write it out. Picture the life on the other side of your discipline. If it doesn't give you chills, it's not strong enough yet. Make it burn brighter, because once desire reaches its peak, no one can stop a person who has decided they must win. Not eventually, not someday, but now. Faith is the invisible force that pulls tomorrow's success into today's action. It is the power to believe in what cannot yet be seen, touched, or measured. It is the foundation of all achievement, because no one ever accomplishes anything great without first believing it's possible. Faith is not passive. It's not blind hope. It is the decision to see what others cannot, and then move as if it already exists. You have to believe in your future so fiercely that it starts to shape your present. That belief must be so deep, so embedded in your thinking, that doubt becomes irrelevant, not absent, but irrelevant, because when faith is strong enough, fear loses its voice. You cannot wait for signs. You cannot wait for evidence. You cannot wait for validation. You must become the proof. Faith in action means waking up and acting like the person who already owns the life you're working toward. It means thinking the thoughts that version of you would think, making the choices they would make, walking with the posture, tone, and drive they would have. You don't fake it. You step into it. You become the future before it becomes real. That's the kind of belief that moves mountains. Most people never reach their true potential because they wait for certainty. They wait to feel ready. They wait for someone to tell them, you can do this. But waiting is the enemy. You don't need confirmation. You need conviction. You need to speak life into your vision every day until it becomes louder than your current circumstances. You need to train your mind to focus not on what is, but what will be. Close your eyes and see it. Walk through it. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, smell the victory. Let your imagination be a tool of construction, not fantasy. The world was built by people who saw things before anyone else believed in them. When faith takes root in your heart, action follows naturally. You stop hesitating. You stop second guessing. You no longer ask, what if it doesn't work? You start declaring, it must work, because I'm building it. You begin to trust your work, your plan, your growth. And that trust becomes the energy that powers your consistency. You no longer operate from fear of failure. You operate from belief in results. Even when there's no applause, even when the mirror shows no change, even when the bank account stays the same, you keep moving. Why? Because faith is not about where you are. It's about where you're going. And when that picture is clear enough in your mind, you'll fight for it every single day. Let others doubt, let others laugh. Let others question your timing. You are not living by their eyes. You are living by your vision. Your success is not in their hands. It's already being shaped by your belief. Keep your faith alive with action, and soon the world will catch up to what you already know. A dream without a plan is just a fantasy. It sounds good, it feels exciting for a moment, but it never manifests because there's no structure to hold it up. You can talk about success, you can visualize it, you can believe in it with all your heart, but unless you organize your life around that dream with a clear and actionable plan, it will stay just that, a beautiful idea in your head. If you truly want to see change over the next 6 months, you must turn that vision into a daily battle plan. Not a once-in-a-while effort, not a someday strategy, a focused, consistent blueprint that drives your decisions every single day. You don't climb a mountain by wishing you were at the top. You take the first step, and then the second, and then the third. Success is not one massive leap, it's the quiet, disciplined commitment to small actions repeated relentlessly. That's what organized planning does for you. It takes your big, intimidating goal and breaks it into pieces you can move toward daily. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop wondering where to begin. You wake up and you know exactly what to do because you've already mapped it out. Your energy stops getting scattered, and your focus becomes razor sharp. A 6-month plan should not be built on emotion. It should be built on structure. Emotion can start the engine, but planning keeps it running. You need to write your goal at the top of the page, then reverse engineer it. What needs to happen by month 5, month 4, by next week? What habits must be installed? What distractions must be removed? What skills must be built? This is not a guessing game. This is strategy. You don't stumble into success. You create it through daily execution. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan that gets put into motion. Every night, review your next day. Every morning, know your top 3 priorities. These are not random tasks. These are needle movers, things that push your purpose forward. You must treat your time like gold, because every hour wasted is momentum lost. The plan is your protection from chaos. It keeps you anchored when the storms of doubt and life's noise try to pull you off course, and they will. You will be tempted to procrastinate. You will be tempted to scroll, to delay, to say, "I'll do it tomorrow." But if your plan is alive in front of you, written, scheduled, clear, you'll have no excuse. People don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they leave their future to chance. You cannot afford that. Not now, not when you've declared change, not when you've decided to take control. For the next 180 days, your plan is your contract. It's your roadmap. It's your daily reminder that success is not a mystery. It's a matter of discipline meeting direction. If you follow the plan, the results will follow you. No one rises alone. No matter how strong your will, how sharp your mind, or how deep your desire, if you walk this path in isolation, you limit your power. Success demands more than individual effort. It requires alignment. It requires connection. It requires that you surround yourself with people who breathe the same air of ambition, who speak the language of elevation, and who refuse to entertain mediocrity. The people you allow into your mental space will either sharpen your edge or dull your drive. That's the law, and over the next 6 months, you must become ruthless about who has access to your energy. Your environment is more than your surroundings. It is the silent architect of your future. If you're constantly around people who complain, who doubt, who settle, who resist growth, it doesn't matter how powerful your dream is, you will feel their weight. You will absorb their fear, adopt their limitations, and begin to question your own purpose. Not because you're weak, but because proximity is influence. The voices around you shape the voice within you. And if you don't consciously construct a circle of growth, the world will hand you a circle of comfort, and comfort is the graveyard of greatness. A mastermind alliance is not just a group of people. It's a force of focused minds united by vision, purpose, and progress. You need people who challenge your thinking, not coddle your excuses. You need people who have been where you're going, who see farther than you can, who will call you out when you shrink and push you forward when you hesitate. That kind of alliance multiplies your capacity, It gives you access to wisdom you didn't earn through time, only through connection, and it injects a new level of accountability into your journey. Accountability changes everything. When you know someone's watching your progress, when someone's expecting your next move, when someone believes in your dream as fiercely as you do, it becomes harder to slip, to stall, to stop. You show up differently. You think differently. You no longer move on emotion. You move on commitment. And when two or more people link arms in pursuit of a greater outcome, something shifts, the energy expands, the ideas multiply. And obstacles begin to look smaller simply because you're no longer facing them alone. Over the next 6 months, you must intentionally build your inner circle. Identify those who uplift, inspire, and ignite your mind. Distance yourself from the ones who drain, distract, and delay your growth. You don't need to cut them out with bitterness. You simply rise so high that they either catch up or fade out. Protect your dream with everything you've got. Not everyone deserves front row access to your journey. Choose your company like your future depends on it, because it does. Start spending time with people who force you to level up, people who talk about goals, investments, systems, and legacy, not just gossip, entertainment, or the past. People who ask, "What's your next move?" and not, "Why are you working so hard?" Find those who are as obsessed with growth as you are. If you can't find them in person, find them in books, podcasts, and videos. Feed your mind with the voices of giants until you become one. When you walk with the right people, momentum becomes contagious. You rise faster, you fall less, you think bigger. And in 6 months, the person you become will be the result of two things: the plan you followed and the people you ran with. Persistence is the rare trait that separates dreamers from achievers. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to show up every single day, especially when it's hard, when it's slow, and when it feels like nothing is working. That's where most people stop, right at the moment when persistence is needed the most. But if you can learn to keep showing up, keep pushing forward, keep doing the work regardless of the results, you become unstoppable, because success does not respond to effort in bursts. It responds to effort in rhythm. You must become a force of consistency. You must decide that no matter how you feel, no matter what's happening around you, you will execute. The next 6 months will not be perfect. There will be setbacks. There will be days when motivation disappears. There will be moments when you question everything, but those are not signs to quit. They're signs to prove you're serious. Anybody can take action when it's exciting. Anybody can write goals when it's January or when the mood is high, but the one who wins is the one who gets up on a cold morning with no applause, no reward, and no evidence, yet still moves forward with full intensity. That's what separates those who talk about change and those who live it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Show up to the plan, show up to the process, every single day. The days you don't feel like it matter even more than the days you do. Because that's when you train your mind that you're in control, not your mood, not your fears, not your distractions. And once you build that level of self-trust, you become dangerous. You no longer negotiate with procrastination. You stop needing inspiration to act. You move because it's what must be done. Execution is how you turn faith into proof. It's how you turn ideas into results. Your habits are the construction crew of your future. One block laid every day, day after day after day eventually becomes a fortress, but skip enough days and the foundation cracks, miss enough steps and momentum vanishes. That's why you can't afford to take this casually. You don't get the luxury of only working when it's convenient. If you're truly committed, convenience is no longer a factor. Discipline is. Make your work sacred. Make your routine non-negotiable. Respect the grind even when it's silent. Because each time you execute, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming, and over time, those votes add up. They become your results. They become your reality. Success is not one giant action. It is the sum total of thousands of small, consistent actions that most people never see and few are willing to do. So show up, even when no one's watching, even when nothing seems to be happening, even when your faith is being tested. Show up because the next version of you is waiting at the edge of your persistence. Not your potential, not your passion, but your persistence. 6 months from now, your life can look entirely different. Not because of luck, not because someone handed you a miracle, but because you decided to take control, to think with clarity, to move with intention, to act with discipline. You built your dream on a solid foundation, starting with a definite purpose. You fueled it with a burning desire so intense it couldn't be ignored. You believed in yourself when there was no evidence, only vision. You mapped the path, piece by piece. You found people who made you rise, not shrink. And above all, you showed up day after day, no matter what. That's how transformation happens, not by waiting, but by building, not by hoping, but by doing. The next 6 months are your proving ground. Every day is a brick, every habit is a hammer, every decision is a step forward or a step back, and you have the power right now to choose progress, to choose growth, to choose the version of yourself that's been waiting far too long to come alive. Don't look back with regret. Don't settle. Don't make this just another motivational moment that fades by tomorrow. Make this your line in the sand. Make this the day you said, enough delay. Enough distraction, enough drifting. Now is the time. This is the path. And you right here, right now, are ready, because greatness doesn't ask if you're comfortable. It asks if you're committed. Let the world see who you become when nothing can stop you.